What's the worst case of rich kid syndrome you've seen? A few years back, I worked for a small but rapidly growing tech company out west. The kind of place that hired young, eager talent with a few polished interns sprinkled in from good families. One of those was this guy. I'll call him Ethan. Early 20s, fresh out of college, transferred in from back east. The kind of guy who'd walk into the office with zero ego, all smiles, and genuinely ask you where the water cooler was, like he'd never had to find one on his own before. He was a good kid, polite, punctual, always asked questions instead of pretending to know things. But you could tell immediately, he had no concept of money. Not in the, I'm bad at budgeting way, but in the, I don't understand what anything costs or why it matters way. You'd hear it in little things like him asking how long it took the rest of us to get approved for our parents' accountants, or how weird it was that some people still bought used cars on purpose. The first big clue came when he went to buy a car. He didn't ask any of us for advice. He just disappeared one Friday afternoon and came back Monday a little frazzled. Said he'd gone to a luxury dealership to pick something out. Told us how confused he was when the salesman wouldn't let him just send the invoice to his dad. I asked what he meant and he said, you know, how they do it at home. My dad handles the back-end stuff. Turns out, back east, he'd grown up in a family where dealerships knew his dad. Like, the name opened doors. Out here, nobody knew who that was. And no one was just sending an invoice. He'd brought nothing. No credit info, no check, not even ID at first. And was shocked that they treated him like, well, a stranger. I think that was the first time he realized his last name didn't carry weight everywhere. But it didn't stop there. A couple weeks later, a few of us from work went to a steakhouse to celebrate a product launch. Ethan came along and insisted on paying for the wine, like it was some grown-up move. When the sommelier came over and Ethan pointed to a bottle on the menu, the guy immediately shifted tones. Certainly, sir, he said, then leaned in quietly and added, just for your knowledge, sir, the bottle is $700. Ethan blinked. Is that a lot? He asked. The sommelier, this older French guy with decades in the game, genuinely didn't know how to respond. There was this awkward pause, like he was waiting for the punchline. Then he just smiled and said, it's among our more confident selections. Ethan nodded and ordered it anyway, poured a glass for everyone, and only drank about half of his before saying it to Dusty. None of us had the heart to say anything. He wasn't doing it to show off, he just didn't know. You'd find him asking the office manager if we had someone who did fridge restocks, and how we submitted dry cleaning through the building. He assumed those were normal things companies handled. He once got confused why the coffee shop near the office didn't just let him keep a tab. The wildest moment was when he casually told me over lunch that he was stressed about paying rent and might ask his mom for help. Just something short-term, he said. A week later, he showed me his bank app for some other reason, and I saw a $20,000 deposit marked Mom. He said, oh yeah, she just dropped something in so I don't have to worry for a while. Eventually, he got it. He started listening more, asking questions that weren't loaded with assumptions. He made friends outside the office and saw how other people lived. He sold the fancy car and got a used one after he scratched the first in a Trader Joe's lot and realized no one cared what he drove. By the end of his first year, he actually seemed grounded, still rich, still cushioned, but no longer oblivious. He didn't turn into someone different. He just got better at being around people who didn't grow up like him.